Ovid in Exile, 1. If you put it in a book and send it, if you put it in a book and send it out, if you put it in a book in order to resist, if you wrote that book from under your bed, if you wrote that book because you could not sleep, because they used to rip only the arms off, if they used to rip only the arms off of your sleeping children, you put it in a book and send it out. Or if the sea is black, or if it is always filled with people or ice, you put it in a book called Tristia because you are sad, and the letters and the book play the role of your beloved and of your servant, and you send it out for 2,000 years, and you send it out thinking that somebody is needing to read it, even if you cannot bring yourself to get out from under the bed in order to change the world, you and clean or cleaner clothes. If the bed is some kind of comfort, or if you put it in a book and you cannot think who is ever going to read it, who is left in Rome, who is still reading or eating or living or smoking even, who is going out to watch contact sports instead of reading this book, you would maybe send it out if you wrote it in order to resist. You say that you will write it to resist if you can write it, but you would rather be sleep or you would rather be sex, but you are neither in a book about sleeping or thinking about power and how to be small or invisible in order to exist like dust does, a whole book of it made of dead dusts which you have lived in, the dead white male poet role in exile from the academy, because it is and you are fucked up in order to exist like an artist without hope and or money beside the Black Sea and great hope and no money and dust. If you put it down in a book and get round to sending it out, which gets up the ass which you desire of the empire in order to be small or invisible again so that you can move instead of thinking about writing a book, Sadness and the Black Sea Letters, a final book of insults and spells. It was a dark and stormy night then, and it is again. I think of the gods who are no longer gods, or the gods are just tools stuck into the idea of the Book of the West. Studying hunger, I season its concept with noting my anger, something my anger is, a book anger. It always has, and I don't send it out. I look at cucumbers in a wan light. I think about all the small poems that I used to send out, letters saying, your language is shit, and ooh la la, I was a bad artist, and I was a boring one when I send my books out in order to resist aging, pollution, men, bikes, dicks. It is good to think about paper and the size and the shape of things, books sent out or not sent out, in order to resist staying inside the house, breathing dust. You make a list of modes of resistance consisting of phrasal verbs and adjectives. You want a book made of nylon to repel dampness. If the sea is black, or if it is always filled with people or plastics, the seas filled with mountains of plastic, the sun burning the bodies piled high on those islands, breaking up in the sun with their tops off, streaked white where the birds land, shits on the pink and blue black plastic bodies, tossed wrappers into the sea, the wine dark sea of wet wipes and ghosts, Algerians, Moroccans, etc. And you cannot build a wall against water, just the same as you cannot build a book anger, which you may well send out if you can locate your arms or the lost bits of your kids, if you can get through their cages, if they do not hold them under water, the boiling cold sea. What will the world do with your book if you write it and send it out? A list of numbers, but numbers, if you can imagine them drowning in a Black Sea filled with plastics out there, an island or mountain, one there of bottles and one there of bodies, one island a site at least of animal habitation and the other of human nutrition. What does it taste like to a fish or a seabird to eat the floating parts of an Algerian from the mountains, or a coast dweller from the coast, or the tiny parts of a family, possibly sub-Saharan, from your position in exile beneath a bed in a small town besides the Black Sea, resisting this volume which you will or will not ever move to send out? Poem 2. You make an appeal. You make an appeal to whoever because you make an appeal to whoever because you do not get what you want, because you do not get what you want from your position under the bed beside the wine-dark sea, and under its blackness the black coming because it has absorbed all of your night, or because the wine-dark sea is not liquor but blood, the blood of the ass and the eye and the ear and the nose and the car and the door and the arm and the apartment filling up. You make an appeal because when you make an appeal, you can write it. And writing, perhaps, is an indication of power. When you do not have any, beside the bed, beside the door, beside the light, beside the sea, and everything says that your power has gone, and you are living on a place that has been abandoned and besieged, and to escape, you know you must call favor from the nameless ones who have been holding a small dog up to your face and squeezing it till it squirts, because they can, which is the nature of chihuahuas, emperors and demagogues, and you put them in your book and you tell them it is a good book, and the book is, you assure them, waterproof because it is made of nylon, and it is not, and you move your body like this and like that, practicing how you would do things if you were ever to appear again before the emperor, scraping yourself beside the wine-dark sea, which is frozen in high summer, in the heat, in the night, pressing down upon you from your position under the bed, the zone known for earthquakes along the coasts, barbarian raids, racists in capes who you could resist if only you had proof of the existence of your book in this real world, going out into the eyes of real readers, real words in an unreal world in which your powers are fading, beside your genius of the sea, which is impossible to look at from your position, bent double from scraping in order to appear servile, to give service to cunts or to books, writing bent double from the position of vitamin loss, such as the ones that seeped out when you were making love and not loved, and the ones which you lost, mostly B vitamins, when you wasted your time watching the conductors of chaos, writing erotic verse, slowly noticing the advance of the new confessional, feeling sad by the side of the sea, eating wings and chili or legs and barbecue sauce. It would be good to become reconciled to the ascendancy of the poseurs and line managers that surround you at night from your position beneath the bed, with the insomnia and the dust pushing them away with an imaginary book. It would be good to repeat the line about no suffering and no self. And it would be good to be drinking a hot or cold drink, in the same way that it would be good to be making love to a woman or a man or an animal on a table or shelf space, telling you that you are, if not alive, at least then a genius, and that you have some kind of occult power over words, the way that many possess power over food in their ability to procure, cook and consume it. You are a middle-aged author by the edge of a black sea, and you are no longer welcome in the academy or upon the Charing Cross Road because you are angry, white and dead. You have been since the invention of the penis in Mesopotamia, and you do not know this is good just because your world has the taste of the language a worm gets when moving through books. Thank you.